Time now for the morning rush. We start with Kristen Curry.
Good morning. The showers that we have over southern Colorado this morning will continue to clear. Those really won't give us much as far as additional accumulation today. But as we transition overnight into tomorrow, a lot more cloud cover there and eventually some showers coming in. We're talking widespread lower elevation rain and high mountain snow starting late Wednesday and through the day on Thursday. Western, central, and southern New Mexico will be favored. Relatively warm storm, so I'm not expecting a whole lot in the way of widespread snow, but of course we'll keep you updated as that storm gets closer. David.
On to some breaking news we've been following all morning long. Eastbound I-40 is now back open near the 6th Street exit after being closed due to a single car crash. Now, this is video from earlier. APD says the driver is expected to be okay, but again, I-40 eastbound is back open this morning. And also new this morning, trial dates have been set for the teen accused of opening fire and killing 2 people in a Clovis library. 16-year-old Nathaniel Jewett is accused of shooting and killing 2 employees of the Clovis Carver Public Library, according to the Eastern New Mexico News. Now, the month-long trial is set to begin on March 18th. The teen is being tried as an adult on first-degree murder charges. And we are also learning the motive behind an Albuquerque man's decision to break into the home of YouTube celebrities. Police say 23-year-old Christopher Giles was obsessed with YouTube star Meg Turney and planned to kill her partner, Gavin Free. Police say Giles broke into their home, Austin home rather, while Turney and Free hid in the closet and called 911. Police arrived as Giles was backing out of the driveway and say Giles shot at police. They returned fire. Giles was dead, but police believe he killed himself. Happening now, the city of Albuquerque is looking at cutting back on employee pay raises. The city is about $4.5 million behind where they thought they would be. This comes as councilors prepare to vote soon on legislation that could increase firefighters' pay by 1.5%. And councilors say they have to make some tough choices on what to cut. Mayor Keller's administration hasn't said yet where it's looking to cut back. And some state legislators want to strip corrupt elected officials of their pension. Now, the proposed act says if an elected official is convicted of certain crimes in office, they lose their state pension. This includes felony convictions for bribery, fraud, and embezzlement. But it would only apply to cases going forward. That means it would not apply to people like former state senator Phil Griego. And passing that legislation could be difficult. There are only 2 more days left in this legislative session. The main task of the session is passing a budget for the next fiscal year. Now, this is something the Senate is working to get done and present to the governor. So far, they have included changes like increased spending on law enforcement. And new this morning, the company that makes OxyContin will stop promoting it to physicians. Purdue Pharma says this is after a string of lawsuits from state and local governments. OxyContin is a highly addictive opioid, and some lawsuits accused Purdue of downplaying its risks. The CDC says that opioids were involved in more than 42,000 deaths in the U.S. in 2016. Now, developing now, Senate lawmakers have started hashing out a plan to reform the nation's immigration system. Republicans and Democrats are expected to introduce their own amendments on the issue throughout the week. Democrats are demanding any immigration solution to include protections for nearly 700,000 immigrants who were brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Also new this morning, the father of a 5-year-old boy battling cancer has avoided deportation. Immigration and Customs Enforcement granted Jesus Berrones a stay and a 1-year work permit yesterday. Berrones was deported back to Mexico twice after being caught in the U.S. with a fake driver's license. Also new this morning, CBS News is learning that the letter containing white powder addressed to Donald Trump Jr. is possibly from Boston. Don Jr.'s wife Vanessa was taken to the hospital on Monday after opening the envelope, which was sent to her mother-in-law's residence in New York. Police said the powder was not considered dangerous. Vanessa Trump tweeted last night thanking first responders. Kristen?
Today's Metro Threat Index is at a 1, talking chilly temperatures this morning, but no weather concerns this afternoon. Highs in the low 60s, mostly sunny conditions overhead, and winds will be fairly light coming out of the south, about 5 to 15 miles per hour through most of the day. Sarah.
This morning, an Albuquerque woman is telling her heartbreaking story about the dangers of distracted driving. Carrie Houlihan's life was turned upside down in just a matter of seconds when she was hit by a woman who witnesses say was texting while driving. The accident left Houlihan with her left leg severed below the knee and in a coma for 3 weeks, causing brain trauma and spinal damage. Houlihan says she would like to start working with law enforcement and lawmakers about the dangers of distracted driving. The charges the driver is facing and what she says she was doing coming up in the 5 Facts. David?
Happening now, an anthropology class at El Dorado High School is developing an app for the National Park Service designed to educate children who visit New Mexico's Chaco Canyon. The app will include things like a scavenger hunt. The group was able to do it because of an $8,500 grant. No word yet on when the app will be available. And new at 6, in a rare move, some jobs are headed back to the chopping block at Amazon. According to the Seattle Times, the layoffs affect several hundred people. And this comes after a years-long hiring spree by the e-commerce giant and follows its best quarterly profit ever of nearly $2 billion. Also new at 6, kidney stones are becoming more common in both men and women. A new study from the Mayo Clinic says the trend is because CT scans are finding stones that older technology would not have diagnosed. The highest increases were in women 18 to 39 years old.
Alrighty, let's get a check on traffic this morning. Have quite a bit of action out there now. We have a crash at I-25 southbound in Osuna. Another accident off to the right, I-40 westbound at San Mateo. Major slowdowns on I-40 eastbound because of two accidents, one 4th Street and another at Rio Grande, again in the eastbound lanes. And I-25 northbound at the Sunport, we have a vehicle facing the wrong direction, and that has things backed up past Broadway. So extra time definitely needed for the morning commute.
Take a look at this. A Durango area family stumbled across this rare animal. Shannon Robinson Malone says her dogs found a large animal carcass, and when her and her husband went out to investigate, they couldn't even tell what it was. Now, the Parks and Wildlife Department confirmed it was an albino raccoon. Experts say you'd have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than ever spotting one in your lifetime. And also new this morning, we are getting another live look at Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Yeah, that camera's whipping around right there. And this is all where 1 million people have descended on the city for Mardi Gras.
Oh my gosh, look at that guy's head. He's got a green mohawk.
And wearing costumes like that. And this is all to honor the longtime tradition of Fat Tuesday. And the streets will be filled with parade goers and floats. And that gentleman right there wearing a dinosaur tail on his head.
Okay, question is he new this morning or is that from last night? You never know in New Orleans.
I think they're just, the party's getting started, so these are the first ones. They want their spot on the street.
Stopped.
There you go.
They just kept going.
Exactly.
Time now for the 5 facts. We will begin with number 5. The Albuquerque Biopark is welcoming a new addition to the animal family. 2 of the Rio Grande Zoo's Cape Griffon vultures recently welcomed a new chick. That's the pair's second to hatch at the zoo. The pair successfully raised their first chick in 2014, and it's currently living, that is, at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo up in Colorado Springs. Cape vultures were listed as endangered in 2015.
At number 4, trial dates have been set for the teen accused of opening fire and killing 2 people in a Clovis library. 16-year-old Nathaniel Jewett is accused of shooting and killing 2 employees of the Clovis Carver Public Library. Now, this according to the Eastern New Mexico News. The month-long trial is set to begin on March 18th. The teen is being tried as an adult on first-degree murder charges. His attorney is also asking Jewett be transferred to the Sequoia Adolescent Treatment Center, but a decision has not been made.
At number 3, mostly to partly sunny today. Rain and snow chances increase late tomorrow through Thursday.
At number 2, an Albuquerque woman is sharing her heartbreaking story this morning about the dangers of driving while distracted. Carrie Houlihan says her life was changed in a matter of seconds after being struck by a driver who was texting while driving. Now, that driver only received a citation. Meanwhile, Houlihan was left with a number of injuries, including her left leg severed below the knee. She also has to rely on her husband and a caregiver to take care of her. She wants people to realize how dangerous this practice can be. And at number 1, state police are looking for a person they believe witnessed the murder of Michael Pelkey. Pelkey was killed by a robber on Sunday who had just held up the Smith's gas station in Edgewood. Police describe the killer as 20 to 25 years old, at least 5'10" with a thin build. Now, if you see the white sedan, please call police. Detectives are also looking for a white pickup caught on surveillance video.